Double KO.
What is up, guys? Welcome to Double KO Radio. I am Poe.
Hey, I'm here, David.
And we're back podcasting.
We are. 2021 edition.
Yeah, 2021. It's been a while. It's been a long time. The last time we podcasted was pre-Evo something or whatever. Like the pre-online Evo before Mr. Wizard was all, hey.
Stuff.
Look at me. I
don't
even want to say, yeah.
It's been a long time, dude. We've been here. I know, obviously, our channel has been pushing content, doing stuff. You're doing that stuff with Granblue. But this is where we started, right? This is where the idea, right? And now we're back. So obviously, stuff like that have been, the world is upside down, and I haven't been able to be doing this type of things too much. Then I had a microphone, and then my dog broke it somehow, and now I got it. So now we can finally do this again.
Yeah, so essentially the name of the channel is because we start a podcast.
Yes.
For fighting games, because any time we have a conversation, fighting games will be brought up because we love fighting games. We started being a little bit more into the fighting game community, especially me. Like, I liked fighting games when I was younger, but never really got into them like that until I was far too old to start fighting games, like at a level that other players like know knowledge-wise, like about them. And after that, we probably podcasted for maybe like about a year or so.
We did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then the reason we didn't do it in other ways is because it costs money, and this is just a hobby of ours to get out there, and we thought it was more cost effective to just be like, I mean, we're not doing this for money, we're not getting money, we're people that aren't known players, which takes a really big part in getting any kind of
content,
any kind of, I guess,
what,
any kind of like a good reason for people to listen to you.
Oh, okay.
The way this community is, like, it really helps for you to be someone who's a known person in tournaments, whether it be commentating or placing high, to really add weight to what you have to say.
Yeah.
And another reason is because YouTube's free.
Why not?
Yeah, YouTube's free. So we decided on the name Double KO Radio out of a bunch of silly names we did, and then all of a sudden, I started doing showcase stuff for Granblue, like showcase kind of videos, and that's a game we were excited about starting and playing and all that stuff. And then that one Lil Wayne video caught a lot of views, and I'm like, oh shit, well, I guess I got to start doing these since people like them, and YouTube's algorithm helped us out with
being helpful,
with getting those out there. So I've been doing those for the past year. So in case for any of the people that helped us, thank you, get to 2,000 subscribers.
Is that right?
Thanks.
Yeah, sorry. Motorcycles on my side.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought you just started playing celebratory music. Boom, 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 boom. Thanks for the 2K, everybody. Everybody for the past in the past year that has enjoyed the videos that we've put out and all the music that's been in them, and thank you everybody that's been a part of the Granblue fantasy scene, all those guys that know all the lore and the all the backstory to all of that, all of that game's
world building, rich world building,
all that whole world, that whole community over there. Like, those guys really enjoyed the videos and helped out a lot in the comment section, keeping the comment section
active and alive.
Yeah, keeping the comment section active and having a lot of engagement there. So yeah, thanks again. And we're still gonna. I still plan on doing them for at least one more season. You guys gotta realize that these are still exciting for me to do the first time I do them. But right after, when I have to re-record for like the Japanese version of something, or it gets kind of repetitive and boring. And that's why last year I kind of took a break when Granblue was on a break, and I went and tried to do like an anime kind of channel, a manga channel, because I've been working a little bit more towards ideas I had before, since I can draw.
Trying new
Yeah,
things.
and I've been trying to get myself more into manga and stuff like that, the stuff that I want to work on. But YouTube, I didn't realize YouTube made it so hard for people to have an anime channel. So all these ideas I had, all these other ways to be more creative with my editing, kind of got shut down in a way. So I recently figured out what I want to do that I think would work, but I still haven't put that into play yet.
I
Did you just zip up a body?
No, it was my door, my
Oh, okay.
waiting ghost door. Sorry.
So yeah,
Uh,
that was this past year, and then work was really heavy during the holidays. The PC had issues during the holidays, so there were less videos than I usually put out.
mhm.
Then at the very end of the year and beginning of the year, David and I got hit with more bad luck that lasted like another 2 months, and we're still kind of recovering from it. But we want to start talking about fighting games because we actually have a fighting game we're excited about.
Absolutely. And of course, and we haven't had a chance, like you mentioned, you did it very well, but we haven't had a chance to tell, the community, at least. I feel like we building a community, and to thank you, that big thank you, that was right there, what we wanted to express to them. Paul and I, we try to be very active in the comment section. We love all those things, and it was very exciting seeing that booming, and seeing some familiar faces of yours there. Oh, this person comment. Oh, this person comment. And we laugh. We read all those comments, and we like them. We read them. We sometimes makes us wonder, right? Some of the things are the direction of the channel based on the things that you guys mentioned there. More of this, less of that, like you mentioned, with like the dual language. When they request certain things. So yeah, man, thank you very much for all of you guys. I think that was well needed for us to say. We haven't had a chance, but now we do. We have good mics now. We're doing these things.
Yeah, audio has always been weird. We always try different ways to do the podcast. We tried to do it live. We've tried different ways to figure it out, because this isn't just like you go to YouTube to watch videos of stuff. You don't go to YouTube usually to just listen to things. I do. I listen to a lot of stuff, a lot of podcasts through YouTube, but that's not like the majority of the people that go to YouTube and what they do in it.
Mhm.
So
And we've been doing also the couple of things with the community posts, which I love that you guys are responding a lot and being active there. First we were iffy about it to see, I mean, man, people will not look at this, but you guys are, so, and things are getting progressively better, more active in those. So thank you for the likes, thank you for the comments in there. And it was like I felt it like it was like a mini podcast type of way when I would put a community or you put a community and we start conversing about those things there.
yeah.
So it feels like, you guys are part of this whole group thing. So we all talking, and we love to talk about fighting games. So as you know, so that was a good way to see you guys. Like, what are your thoughts like on the KOF things, or like you with the Grand Blue and stuff? So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, about the community post too. Just letting you guys know, the guys that were on it, I messed up, and I figured out a way to, redo the whole thing. Like, let's just call the first time a beta, but the waifu tournament for the Grand Blue one. This time around, it's gonna be over 400 waifus. Whatever. I wasn't trying to alienate anybody. If the thing said female, I put it in. No matter if it's an looking thing or if it was a child or anything, if it said female, it's up to the community to figure out who they want to be on top. And I'm saying that, but get all the minors out of there, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Round one, I don't want any Harvins in there either. I'm just saying.
That's the only thing. But we know who's best.
But they're all in there, right? So that I don't get a complaint about me excluding anybody. The way I had to do it is I had to split it up into two separate brackets because I didn't want to pay to have one giant bracket.
Listen, we do it.
So I'm gonna have two huge brackets. I'm gonna be doing the round ones of each bracket, going back and forth between them until the tournament gets small enough. Then whatever names are still left, I'm gonna put them into one big bracket and continue the tournament that way. There's no losers. There's no double elimination. Once the
We're all
waifu's out,
winners.
the waifu's out. All right, guys.
But we don't know who the best waifu is, dude. We already know.
Well, I mean, if
We already
it's
know.
another thing, guys, that's another thing. If you guys have any forums that you go to or anything like any Facebook groups or anything like that, help us out. Put our post there, like any Grand Blue kind of stuff, so we could get even more people voting. Because to be honest, if it's just the same like 300 to 500 people voting, it's gonna be pretty consistent on whoever. Like once you know there's one favorite waifu, I think it's gonna be a wash all the way up to like top 8 out of 400 people, all the way up until top 8 is gonna be washes left and right.
Yeah, sometimes when I go there, like, bro, there's no contest.
Yeah.
Done.
Oh, yeah. And I don't even know. I forget. There's so many because I forget. Then last time, like when I did this thing, and I'd pull up who's next on the bracket. I'm like, all right, let me see who's next. Okay, this one and this one. Who's that again? Oof, that is gonna be destruction. And I'd post it up anyway. And yeah, 1 or 2 days later, it's still destruction.
I remember one that was like this cool, like a girl with an axe or whatever, and there was like this dragon girl. Like it was literally a physical dragon, like a thing. Like it looked like a cartoon, like floating dragon.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I voted for the dragon, but I was like, yo, if this dragon wins, bro, we in there.
Yeah, I always root for the underdogs unless it's a draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for an all draft top 8.
That's my bias, by the way.
Yeah, I know that's super biased. Hopefully, I don't sway the community in any way with my what my favorite race
Waifu?
is. Yeah, for waifus in that game.
Absolutely. And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, you said so. The community post is being very active. That and also if you guys want us to do something even more with that or any suggestions, let us know there. When that's your best place to communicate with us. It's literally a direct link with us. So if you see something there, I would like that. It would be great if you add these things. Suggestions, we always take it into granted, and then we make something out of it. Right? Might not be 100% what you say, but it could be something in that direction. So that would be cool. Maybe they want Husbando's tiers list or whatever. That would be cool.
Let's hope I can finish this one this time around. And then
I'll take care of the Husbando.
Yeah.
The lion gets continued.
I'll be biased too in the Husbandos one.
Yeah, you will.
Draft males all the way. I want draft males to win.
Are there
I saw a
males?
couple of them that look kind of like me. Yeah, bro. There's
okay.
fucking Vasraga. Hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
He's just all armored and stuff. Anyway,
It's his titties, doesn't it?
whether they're hard or soft, draft males.
I'm very confused. I need to get you a shirt that says that. Let's forget about Grand Blue, bro.
Yeah, so about Grand Blue, right? This is a game we were excited about.
I think before we speak about Grand Blue, we have to know where we at. Have you been playing any fighting games?
Yes, technically, but no.
Wait, what? I
So,
haven't.
When's the last time you've been serious about a fighting game, Dave?
That I've been serious? MvCi? Maybe.
Okay. So right.
Yeah, MvCi and Rangers.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. MvCi and Rangers seems like the most that I put like legit time, because I did play a lot of Grand Blue.
Yeah.
And I put time into learning it, but I don't think it accumulates to the hours and hours that I learned MvCi and Rangers that I put. Yeah.
But what happened with MvCi?
Ask Capcom. What the fuck?
I mean, but that community is still there somewhere. Getting
my friends didn't want to play MvCi.
And the only reason that it's do not. I'm gonna blow this guy out right now, because when at the end of basically the last month before Dragon Ball came out, I was like, I'm really getting my footing in this game finally in MvCi. I really feel like I'm understanding a lot more things, and this guy kept pushing me to play Dragon Ball because it was the new game, and I didn't think I liked it. I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, and I wasn't having fun with it. But they still kept pushing me to play
season 1
because it was so, like, I guess hype. The hype of it was there. Yeah, it is season 1, and I did take it seriously up until Defend the North, when I was like, all right, that's it. I don't want to play this anymore. I
Yeah, season
don't.
one was
That I
really.
was willing to keep playing MvCi, just nobody else was, and it was weird to me. I was
I
like,
don't.
if you
I
don't
can't
like
believe
it,
you
and
say no one else.
there was nobody else going. Well, I really liked this game though. This game had good
Yeah.
netcode and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and no matter how much support or not support these companies give it, I'm gonna still keep playing this game because this is the game that I liked. That's how it
Yeah.
used to be. We didn't
Hmm.
expect support. We just expected new versions of the game to come out.
Or people playing it, keep playing it.
Yeah.
Like don't migrate to the next new thing. Yeah.
So I was stuck not liking Dragon Ball for another year or so, right?
Yeah, I tried
Off
it,
and
but
on. It's just so hard because the combos and the way it hits and the way it looks and the characters you fall in love with, it gets
everything
you
looks great.
into it. It gets you into it, and you're doing cool stuff in the lab. And then when you play,
It's a different story.
it's a different game. Like if you're in the top 1% of high level players, it's a different game than being with everybody else, with us. You know, like.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what your square says in that game. You could come across somebody that plays like a blue square, even though they're pink. You know, like but somehow they're pink.
Yeah. It's like that's what we did our Descent to Madness video, right? In this channel. And we deep dive into that, like why? What is this about this game? But to be honest, MvCi, I could say I played it the most.
You definitely did. You definitely did.
I played it the most, but I think like you mentioned, I got lured out into playing something new, right? Like
But that's in your character though. It's nothing I fault you for because you love new things. You're always trying to, not even with fighting games, it's just games. You try to make me play a bunch of stuff that's like looks fun and new, and I'm like, dude, I don't like fun. I don't like new. Come on.
I don't like stuff.
I don't like doing things. So
yeah, I do. So, but it looks too pretty, like you mentioned, and the characters that you love. So that's why I migrated into that. But maybe it's something that I knew.
Maybe it's just us. We're probably in the minority where everything in the game clicked except for when you're fighting, and then it just doesn't become as fun.
Yeah, and then the next game that was Grand Blue.
Well, no, for me it was Samurai Shodown. Technically,
yeah, we played.
We played like I would say like the first 6 months. And that was almost the game I started really. I actually put a lot of content out for that I forgot about. I actually felt I knew the game enough at the beginning where we put tutorials, we put breakdowns of the patches, we put a tier list for the game, like, and
compilations were fucking funny.
Yeah, it's simple enough to understand what's strong and weak in that game, but the game is not simple. You know, like it's. If you're playing somebody else that knows the game, like every other game, it's not a simple game. It's a really fun game, and I really enjoyed it, but they're really breaking my heart. But I do have an idea off of, because I was really into that community, and we, like, because it's so small, we did run into a lot of the bigger people in that community.
The higher ranked people, yeah. Absolutely.
But there's a couple of things I have in mind, though. I think SNK... And this is based off of Crispy Kaiser. He's one of the SNK guys. He started streaming it for a little while until he realized that the netcode is so shit that he had to stream other SNK games, do random shit in other SNK games. He's not gonna ever say that it's because of that, but I know. I was watching the streams. I actually caught his very first stream of that game. But there's something about the way he was. Wait, hold on.
No worries.
There's something about the way he was talking about certain things when people ask about development and ask for like something as simple as colors. He mentioned that there's a budget. Like, do they have things that whether some things are in the budget or not to do? And I think since the beginning, if Amakusa, which was leaked in a kind of a code AMA, like you don't know where they data mined it, if he is one of the characters in this season pass, I think their plans for Sam Show is up until now, because if you beat the game, you get that Easter egg of Amakusa at the end.
I got super
so I think every single thing that they had planned up until this season was something that they couldn't really flex on because of the amount of money that you could spend on the game. This is just me basing it off of what, like, paying attention to how they do things and
how things are coming out.
Yeah. So I think I try not to have hope that after this season 3 that they are flexible enough to go, all right, this the plan that we made for these 3 seasons, all that shit is done. Now let's think about rollback, because that's the only thing that really broke my heart about the game, where it's just they're not fixing the lobbies, they're not fixing how any of the internet, like the infrastructure works, and that's the real thing that killed that game's community. Just how backwards and old that the whole UI for that game was, because it feels like the UI feels like it should have came out 2005, and the way the game looks feels like it should have came out with Street Fighter 5, because Street Fighter 5 and Sam Show have great graphics and great animations, but they do look dated now. Even Street Fighter 5, like the Capcom had that great presentation, but seeing the game again after not really paying attention to it for like the past 6 months, I'm really like, okay, it's starting to look dated to me. Not to say that it looks bad, but it's looking dated. With and I think maybe that's the Guilty Gear thing. Everything can't compare to it.
Yeah, I think so. I would disagree a little bit with the Street Fighter 5. I think Street Fighter 5 is up to date, release date, the best graphics in that subject, in that non-2D, 3D type, in that 2D game, because that technically is like a 3D game. But I think Street Fighter 5 is the best looking game in terms of particles, in terms of how it looks, in terms of like the effects.
Yeah,
I think it's the best looking game.
I think I've thought that for a really long time, and I would be confused as to why people think it doesn't look good, just because Capcom needs to stop making their characters smile, because that's the problem with Ken. That's the problem with like Ibuki when she smiles. Anybody that, if you got to really pay attention to why the character's face is ugly. If they're smiling, it's ugly. Like in that game, it's ugly. They don't know how to make smiles. Yeah, but everything else was great. The textures, it clips. There's clipping or whatever, but the textures, the clothes flowing, the hair moving, the effects on the stages themselves, like everything is good. It's just I feel like it's starting. If you look at it, it looks like we need the next gen. Okay, cool. It looks nice, but we need the next gen.
Oh, it is 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, that's what I mean by dated. I'm not saying it looks ugly. I'm just like, I think it needs like a fresh paint, a new fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, maybe like an Ultimate Edition, but to be honest, the next coat of paint wouldn't even be that game, right? It would be something that, to be honest, we don't even know it's going to be better, right? Because we don't know if the budget they're going to put into this next game is going to be the budget Street Fighter have because of Sony, right?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit another topic, though. But I'm going to disagree a little bit. I still think Street Fighter 5 is up to par, the best looking fighting game. Now, Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat has WB production and all this money, and it looks great, but it doesn't animate well. That's why I don't think animation goes into, for me, presentation of the game. So while Mortal Kombat has better graphics, I think the better looking game, once again.
Yeah, once you see the game moving and all those graphics coming together,
that is not hand drawn. That is not hand drawn like Dragon Ball or something like that. I think it is Street Fighter. Dragon Ball, obviously, right now is among the better one of those type of graphics until obviously Strive comes out, which knocks it out of the park.
And it's weird because like Tekken has a lot of detail in their characters.
No, it doesn't translate well.
But when they're in the match, like when they're moving around and all that stuff, it looks like a 10-year-old game.
Like Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Same thing. I love art of Soul Calibur is incredible. It's like Fantasy Strike art. And then you go to the battle and it's like, oh, this is generic NPC number 3, with socks on or no socks at the end of the match. But yeah, I think that's normal. I saw we ramble a little bit about that, but it's definitely exciting to see what is going to be next for like what is considered good. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like what is considered good, especially with all these next gen consoles pumping out graphics. They look ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to play good.
So yeah, Sam Show would be the one game I would consider being kind of serious, and because we actually went to a tournament for it and did kind of content in it where we were like in it. We haven't done anything like that for any game afterward. And then Grand Blue, you were more excited about it than me because you actually played the Grand Blue fantasy game.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went with it because it looked nice, right? It looked nice. We played it, and even with the low roster, the only problem would be like the low amount of roster and trying to find a character for yourself in a low amount of the initial roster, and a lot of those characters kind of having like a same kind of mindset where it's like there's a forward moving EX move, there's a DP, and there's a fireball. You know, like there's something, there's a move in there to extend the combo off the wall, and pretty much everybody has that.
It's accessible.
Yeah.
The better way. Right?
Well, the accessible stuff is like everybody having a universal input for most of that stuff.
Yeah, like a button, right? You can press a button and someone can do it.
Like everybody has an overhead, everybody has the same grab, everybody has a air grab, everybody has the same dodge, everybody has the same dash forward. You know, like it's cool because you can intermingle with the characters more often if you're that kind of person.
I think it was hard for people to be excited about it. I think what Dragon Ball, at least for us, right? For me, I like the flexibility of characters. I like to be able to think with so much options with the character, and they played it way too safe in Granblue. They played it like very Tekken 7, right? And let me elaborate on that. Tekken 7 is by no means anything that is super, how do you say it, simple in terms of learning it. But Tekken 7 went the safest route, right? Everyone has like a corkscrew attack. You know, everyone has a rage art. Everyone has like most of the generic things, right? Most of the cast, right? And instead of putting, maybe they would do like air combos, like literally air combo, like the rival school.
Yeah, style. And I think it got to the point where Leroy just basically had all the generic stuff anybody has in the game.
And then he became the ultimate weapon.
Yeah, but better. Basically, they gave him all the weapons, but better.
Yeah. So Granblue played it very safe, right? Granblue even thought it's still great. I think I have fun with it. Very exciting matches in the beginning. I even play like people from the FGC and stuff like that, and it was cool. But then obviously it came out at the worst time. We spoke about this because of COVID. So there was not much of tournament exposure for this game. So everything was relying on the netcode, and then the netcode wasn't the best. I'm going to be super honest. I rarely have bad matches with Granblue with netcode. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's still a good netcode, right?
Yeah.
Just because I don't have bad matches. Clearly, there's something in there that can enhance that performance, and we already played it with Strife, which is a different thing. But for me, the most that hindered my experience with Granblue was that it looks so good. It plays not so good, right? Like,
I don't think it plays to how you like playing games, because
but I like Street Fighter. Street Fighter.
Yeah, but with Street Fighter, it's a little different, because even like with me, like a character I really liked in Street Fighter was Charlie Nash, and the reason I like Charlie Nash is because he has a lot of unique normal moves. So like at different ranges, I'm pressing different buttons. It feels different. I'm a button Z kind of guy. I'm a boring button Z kind of guy, and this game gives me less buttons like that. And that's like one negative I would say about Granblue that I don't like. And then there's like kind of like the flow of the match. The flow of the match feels the same every round. You don't have to think about meter, because the flow of the match. It's nice because there's no comeback mechanic really. It's just you just got to choose when you want to cash out on the damage. Let's say the guy.
I'm fine with that.
Let's say if there's a guy and he's at 20 and you're at 25% health, he's at 50, and you happen to land a hit. You could use your super then to have it be even, but he still has his super. And it just kind of just is like that. It's just like you cash out to catch up and make it a fight again, or you just cash out at the very end when it comes to meter. I think that kind of makes it a little boring.
I will not. So let's not say this, right? To not generalize it to boring. I think it makes it very predictable, right?
Yeah.
It makes it very predictable, which is something which, as crazy, as chaotic as it is now, Dragon Ball, it is very predictable, right? It's very, this is the route. This is the thing. This is what's going to happen afterwards. Before in the main combo, you already know how most likely it's going to end by the end of that combo, right? It doesn't mean there's not craziness and stuff like that, but Granblue does that at a lower scale, right? Less hyped up, more grounded, more simplified, right? So then it becomes even more of a predictable thing. Oh, he did that thing. Well, we know what he's gonna do next. There's no other routes to do any other things, and it's not blaming the auto combos. I don't think the auto combos are an issue. I just think that the gameplay mechanic around that is the issue, right?
Yeah.
if it was a way that I can do certain commands, certain hits, like you mentioned, without having to do the auto combo, then I can still cash out the damage that I'm doing, then it will give me the flexibility of those things. But it's not. So I think the gameplay aspect of it, they played it smart. Business-wise, they played it smart. They played it, sorry for the motorcycle, they played it in a way that everyone can play it, everyone can enjoy the beauty of it, and it had a lot of content. It has an RPG mode. So in a business perspective, like, what else do you need? You know,
I think it all just boils down to, because of what the overall dialogue has been for what people want in fighting games this past year, because everybody's been home playing games online. It has been like, dude, we need good netcode or we don't play your game. And it's unfortunate because this game, I think it offers a lot to people when it comes to the tutorial missions and all that kind of stuff. I think it's really good because they show you the system mechanics, they show you combos with each character, they show you a way to try and punish every character on all of their moves, and it has a serviceable training mode. It has an RPG mode. Whether you like it or not, it is a lot of hours you can put into the game if you choose to. There's a lot of stuff you can unlock. There's a lot of cosmetics to unlock during it. There's story in it too. You know, that's the point of it.
It keeps expanding for free.
If you want to have more connection with your characters, that way you do that. And it's co-op online and offline, that mode. So you could you could just bring your girlfriend or something. I don't know if you guys have girlfriends or not. I'm sorry I said that.
Or a boyfriend, don't matter.
Yeah, any partner you have in your room and be like, hey, come try this out for me. And it's so easy because it's directional buttons to do all the moves, that they could get into it that way. That could be their gateway if people actually try the mode into fighting games.
Yeah.
And the story gets updated a lot.
Yeah. So then you ask yourself, and it's free, right? Because the reason I'm saying it's free and it's a lot and all that stuff is mostly things that get added like this, it normally has a cost, right? Even Tekken added for accessibility of hitbox or frame data and stuff like that, you know? Or maybe you need a champion edition version to get a story. I don't know. Something, but this keeps uploading the story. Good story too. It doesn't feel like it's just push words in there, you know? They're literally pulling a whole pile of story in it, and it's free, and they advertise it in a way that they care, because in the trailers they emphasize on that, new story mode, there's gonna be new in the RPG mode, because they probably feel that there's an audience there that maybe not good at playing the fighting games, but they love the story mode and they enjoy playing it. And it's fun,
and most of the audience probably they're expecting to come from their mobile browser game, you know.
So in paper, that's what I'm saying. In paper, it looks good. The game has the things that it has to succeed. But for me, I just feel that in the gameplay wise, it's lacking a lot of stimulation. Let's put it like that. It's lacking a lot of. I need to be stimulated when I play.
Yeah.
I need to be able to process. And then a character like Cagliostro came out, and I think it was really great addition. She does a lot of flexibility and stuff. I was like, oh, great. The characters, as they keep coming out later, it seems like a better version of the game.
Yeah.
In terms of what they do, in terms of what they present, even how they do their supers, right? And I'm like, I'm liking this aspect of it. But then we still have something unsolved, that we still have the vanilla character, right? The original character still doing more or less the same. So it's like a ugly, beautiful thing in that gameplay. So for me, it just throws me off. So then it makes me not want to play it. Plus, then when you go online, there's nothing there, right? There's no one.
Yeah, that's another thing too. And coming from the Sam Show community, right? Like, I don't want to deal with that again. I don't want to deal with having to have a Discord to play people, or like I want faceless random stuff like in Dragon Ball or in Tekken. What I used to like is I just go there, some faceless random weird named dude, I fight, and then that's it, and then I queue up again and do it again. That's how I personally like to play, especially since there's another thing too, is that because it's such regionally regionally you have to pick a certain time and date for when there's people online, and that doesn't go with me because I don't like the way I make time is like, okay, I have time to play a game. And for like when I was into Tekken, it would be right before I go to work. I used to do a couple of matches early to wake me up, And it would be cool because I get paired up right away with whatever probably European guy was there, and the net code was decent enough that I could play it. I can't do that with Granblue. Granblue has to specifically be at some point in the evening. I can play a couple of people in the New York lobby if I want.
And it's probably the same people.
And it's mostly it's either gonna be like grandmasters of the game or somebody that's like a B or C rank kind of player, like a newer type of player. That's what I've come across over and over again, because I do play some of it during the battle pass and some blitz mode stuff, which we'll get into soon, because that's another thing that this game tries to offer.
For me, I think that a game that shows that it has life motivates you more to play it. And it might sound, whatever, but it's something in my mind, or I don't know if yours, but maybe it's something that if you go to Dragon Ball lobby, that thing is packed 24/7, no matter the time.
And it's like you have to find one that's not packed first. It doesn't just put you in like an auto lobby first. You're like, all right, where am I going? 64 full, 64 full. Let's go to this one. This one's not full. And then there's still a bunch of people in there.
And people doing modes, doing the boss mode.
And it's the opposite, because I'm going, where's it not empty for Granblue, instead of going, okay, where is there some space for Dragon Ball?
Yeah. And that, I think, affects the do I really want to play this game type of thing? Yeah, in a sense, sure, you should play whatever you want, but it doesn't motivate, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like, there's games that don't have lobbies. Sorry to interrupt you. There's games that don't have lobbies, right? But as long as you go and can quick match quickly and get a match right away, like you mentioned Tekken, that's enough for you to be like, okay, this game is good. I can just press it and play it and then do the thing and then I'm out, And that doesn't happen in Samsung. Samsung, you go queue. You do rank match or something, you're never going to find a match.
Yeah.
Never.
That recently happened to, there's this YouTuber called Neo Geo Now. There's this guy named Neo Geo Now, and he's really popular in the KOF community because he's like, he does a lot for KOF updates and all that stuff. He updates everybody with news and all that stuff. And he's pretty biased, but he's finally now starting to, I start hearing the cracks in him having to not be able to say certain things are good, especially about Sam's show. And recently he had a live stream, and I was like, oh, this guy's streaming Sam's show. I just caught the beginning. I'm like, I have to see. I'm gonna go in here and wait till he finds the match. And he was frustrated trying to find a lobby match. He had to go into separate. He went into his own. Nobody was coming into his own. He went into trying to find another one. It was hard to find another one. And when somebody and like that, you know how you can see a person's name on that lobby that you're trying to search for. When he went to go to a rank match, it took it a while, and when it finally popped up, it was the guy's name that was trying to search for people in the other lobby that he didn't go into because the connection wasn't good. So that guy had to give up on lobbies too, and then they met up anyway on rank. This shit's crazy, bro.
It is. It really is for how well the game sold, right?
Yeah.
For how well the game sold. And I think that makes you not want to play, and then you end up playing a first-person shooter, or a battle royale or something like that.
Yeah.
Or play Outriders like me. And then
and Neo and other things.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think that is like a hidden factor in those games, and I think we haven't found that yet. And then until we play Strive, and Strive was beautiful, and it was a great experience. I'm talking like it was a life-changing experience.
Yeah. Well, let's take it back a little bit, because I don't want to go back. I don't want to go past Granblue before we cap that off. So here's what I think about Granblue. The fighting experience of it, I like it. It's just, it doesn't feel like something I could play for a long time at any time. One, because of it isn't stimulating fighting for a long period of time for me. And it's a game that I play that's made for pad. And recently I re-injured a very old injury of mine late last year. So it's been harder for me to even play it consistently like I used to, because I play it on pad.
He's talking about his pride, guys. His pride.
So playing the game is harder for me, but stuff like Blitz mode, it's a mode where you earn points. All you have to do is probably sit down for like an hour and a half, and then you get all the cosmetics for it. The battle pass that nobody talks about, which is cool, that's in a fighting game, is something that's really interesting because it makes sense. Maybe it'll make more sense in other fighting games in the future that come out, but it makes sense that with what they want to offer, like different weapon skins and different stuff they could offer for RPG mode and all that stuff, can be put into the game. And most of it is free, but you could choose to pay like $8. And it's stuff that's really easy to unlock, even if you don't cheat like I do and have my friends do a room match with me and get it over with, get my dailies or my weeklies over with in like 10 minutes or less. But yeah, they have a lot of things there that can keep people playing the game and going back to the game. But I really think it needs to start. The buzz needs to start with, we finally upgraded the netcode. Please play the game, because I honestly feel like the game is good enough that once that one negative thing about the game is taken out of the picture, that people their eyes will get open to what else the game has to offer that's good.
Yeah, because the game looks beautiful too. Like, yeah, I know graphics is not the thing, but graphics is one of the things that's gonna shine and make people want to look that way. Mm-hmm. So if that, like you mentioned, that negativity goes away, then what's the excuse? Right?
And I don't like people saying that it's expensive. Every fucking fighting game is expensive.
It's not expensive.
Every fighting game has season passes and characters and DLC. It's exactly the same. You just don't want to put the effort into this game.
You know how much Dead or Alive DLCs?
Dead or Alive? It's too much. Like hundreds of dollars.
Like 300.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars is insane. But you
don't need to.
But that wasn't a thing that people brought up back then. Why did people get cheaper now?
No idea. Maybe things are different.
But yeah, that's basically how I feel about Grand Blue. I still play it in those moments where the game is offering me to unlock something, but I can't see myself really grinding it out. Even though the last character I started playing with was Beelzebub, because he started like feeling like he's a me kind of character, so I started picking him up over Uno. I was talking mad shit, saying I was gonna play Uno. But then I realized that playing Uno meant playing the game if I wanted to be good with Uno, because it involves him knowing a lot of the game. Because of the parries and how the parries work, and having to know all the other characters' moves and how many hits each move does if you want to parry it and all this other shit. I'm like, I don't want to learn that. Not for this game.
Yeah.
I just want to press a button. So I find it fun with Beelzebub that I can just get the fuck out of a corner whenever I want. Mm-hmm. If the guys make a mistake, I got a DP and I can use something that's full screen. That's all I need for that game. Get off me. I can go. I have a full screen option, and I can move around with my specials. I have something to do in the air. That's what I like. That's what I like in that game.
And edginess.
Yeah, and my hair. I have been growing my hair since since the fucking. I was gonna say epidemic, since the pandemic. So I'm almost there, guys.
Mm-hmm. You can get your hair braided.
I almost got my hair to the back of my knees when I'm in the shower.
Right now, you look like Ichi from Yakuza.
Yes, like yes.
But yeah, I think, to be honest, it's like I mentioned earlier. The Grand Blue is the game looks great. The gameplay for me doesn't do much for me until later on, the later characters. I think if they continue that segue into how those characters are changing how the game plays a little bit, and what they're bringing, and even how they do certain moves that other people do, but they do it better in a way, in terms of time, for the match, not prolonging the match, and et cetera. I think if they do that more and more, I think they're gonna have a great change to season 2, and maybe it will bring more people.
And we have tried a bunch of fighting games too. It's not like we've stuck to, like, let's say, how Street Fighter guys only stick to Street Fighter mostly.
Dude, I play everything.
Tekken guys stick to Tekken mostly because they have the whole fucking encyclopedia of stuff to learn.
History or legacy.
Yeah, we have been trying different things and they just haven't clicked. Like, why? Like, real quick, let's just run them down. Mortal Kombat, what happened there?
For me?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat for me, I don't know. It just, I like the footsies. I like the little bit more grounded game, but it just felt repetitive to me. Mm-hmm. It felt like I had to do a specific EX move. Was restricted to certain moves only unless I do a custom variation, and even like that, I still restricted. So even thought it looks great, and some of the things are cool. It just feels more of the same.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, is that all of it? Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
No, it's just it's because I did try a bunch of characters in that game.
Yeah. So
But then I stood back and I looked and I was like, oh, they're all.
here's what happened to me. I did like the more grounded nature, the more footsie based nature of the game, because I hated a lot of things that I just couldn't see. Like in the past two, like 10 and 9, since I played those a little bit, hard to see the characters, hard to see the moves that have like no startup animations and no end animations, and just the animations in general are a mess in that game. And a lot of the moves are like cheap. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the moves are like they have to patch them all the time because they just somebody messes up somewhere when they're like, really, this made it through. Like when I look at Garrus as a character design at the beginning, I'm like, he made it through. Like there was no problem with the original Garrus before certain things got patched. But even with that, it's like even with them having an issue with balancing their games and their game's moves, I really think they need to stop making variations, stop being cowards, and give them all the moves and balance them out that way. I would love for I was initially play Scarlet. I would love for Scarlet to have all those moves and for me to figure out what situation I'm doing, what move and what. It would bust that game open up. It would bust it open in a way where you definitely see really different play styles between all those characters.
Yes, I will agree, but then I also say that variations gave a unique ID for Mortal Kombat. And variation gave a unique ID in Mortal Kombat that even thought at the end of the day, there's always going to be a dominant variation. It does placebo. It moves you into thinking that there's more variations in terms of playstyle, which is not, but because then you still limit it how they did it in MK11. I think if they do the variations how they did it in MK10, I think it is, that the characters do have still the full rosters of move. It's just they have an extension of combos or an extension of something, but they still mostly have all their full moves, right?
Yeah.
So the variation feels less restricted when you pick something, and it feels more like you're picking a theme of that character. Hey, I like the size of Melina, so I'm gonna pick the ones that do the more Psy moves. But I'm still not gonna lose my teleport kick. I'm still not gonna lose my roll, right? Type of thing.
I mean, I could see it being a Grappler's Owner Rushdown version of everybody.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. That sounds great. That
would make sense. Grappler's Owner Rushdown.
Super cool. That sounds super cool.
If they're gonna be like,
imagine your Rushdown Liu Kang versus my Grappler Liu Kang. Yeah, that would be cool. Whatever. But I think variation still is very unique to MK.
It is cool, but it makes it less unique when you're so restricted on using those variations. They opened it up recently, right?
But MK11 still restricted. Yeah, MK10 more. Yeah, that's why I said they need to go back more to the MK10 if they're gonna continue the variations. If not, they'll open everything and let everyone do anything.
Anyway, you played Rangers. What happened with Rangers?
Ooh, I love Rangers. I keep getting kicked out of lobbies. The lobby system, even though I love the developer team over there doing their things and pushing content and stuff like that for a small company, the lobbies, some of them are glitched out. Like sometimes you try to enter one and it crashes your game, or some of the lobbies are locked down by a passcode because they're just playing among friends. And then when I join any other or I play my own, either I get kicked out in the ones that are not mine, or no one joins mine. And then when I go to rank, I play the same thing like every other person.
Yeah,
like
repetitive people online because it's a small community.
And it's not that I don't want to play the same people. In a fighting game, in order to grow, right, you need to play certain different people, higher levels or lower levels, whichever it is. And once again, it's one of those signs that makes you like, but no one is. People are playing it, but not as much, or it's the same people. Nah, I don't want to do that. Yeah. I think that's the game that I played the most rank ever in my life.
Yeah, and that was off of necessity at first because it was the only option you had.
And that's sad, yeah. But I love Rangers. I'm excited for whatever comes next, and maybe see what they do. I love the game.
What else was there? Fantasy Strike. Because for me, this is before we even get into that, I just want to point out again that the one time I actually decided to buckle down and learn some Rangers, you told me to play Dragon Ball instead when Roshi came out. Just putting that out there again.
Who
I
came
was
out?
learning characters. I've had a team set. I started learning combos with my first character. Roshi was coming out next week. I was like, all right, Sparrow. So am I focused on Rangers or am I learning Yoshi? You told me to
I didn't
learn
even play
Yoshi.
when Red Cheese came out.
I'm just
I didn't
telling
even
you
play
what
it.
happened. Just don't
But I'm
even.
saying, think about how worse that
Don't
is. I
even.
didn't even play it.
Yeah, I know. That was like the weirdest shit. We didn't even end up doing anything with that game again. It was worse picking it up this time around. That time around. All right.
But now it's better.
Soul Calibur 6.
I actually played it on and off. That's a game that keep going on and off. It's a game that is like Tekken, that once you leave the game, it's much, much harder to come back. And it falls under legacy moves and, your knowledge on legacy moves. What that means is something that passed down different generations of the game. So even though that was still kicking in my old brain was still, I remember this, I do that, I do this. I still getting same thing, getting win 2 matches. No one likes to lose, bro.
Yeah.
No one likes to lose. Bro, I made a lobby. I wait 5 matches before me. I beat the guy, and then everyone leaves. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I gotta wait more. So the wait time doesn't compensate for the entertainment.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. They added a bunch of stuff. They expanded the
Yeah.
gameplay on it. But the wait time is just not there, bro.
And I didn't try the game. I turned it on a couple times, went to training mode. I had no motivation to play, so especially after the experiences you had. So,
What about Tekken?
Tekken, really liked the game the first time around. Found a character for me, Noctis. Even with my excitement for Ganryu, since I love sumo wrestling, I found out that my playstyle doesn't suit what Ganryu's strengths are. And my playstyle is a lot like Noctis, where I got long range, defensive stuff. Especially in that game where if I can see a move coming out, Noctis has a counter that counters everything. Like, you know how Robert plays Negan? So, like, certain characters just can't block the bat. Noctis can block the bat. And I see the bat coming all the time. It's just like, all right, I don't have to worry about it being an elbow or a punch or a knee that I can't parry for some reason. It parries everything, and there's a lot of that game that I don't know. But if I see something coming at me and I can press back and a button to parry something, I'm going to do it. And I got annoying long reach and unparryable low, and I didn't want to change from that. But coming back to Tekken, we have played Fantasy Strike, and Fantasy Strike made us lazy, to be honest.
So for me, Tekken, I'm gonna be super honest. I got bored of it. I felt that, and I play Soul Calibur, mind you, so I know Namco games, right? I just felt that the game didn't have nothing else for me. Like, it's just okay. Well, I always look for a juggle, and I always look for either the high-low, the normal mind game stuff like that, and then I think it's just.
You do
once again.
Yeah, you poke, and then like if you have a combo, you basically have a combo for every situation, and then there's the crush combo, like the bam, got him. Okay, here's the optimal one.
And for me, I remember we were all playing in a lobby, and I was like, wow. And it's not that I'm losing. I'm winning, losing, mix of both. I was like, wow, I'm not having fun.
Yeah, and it didn't help that the lobbies had us. Like, if we had 6 people in the lobby, you're waiting 40 minutes to play again because of the load times and how that shit works. Terrible lobbies.
Yep. Horrible lobbies.
Future thing we'll talk about, but yeah, terrible lobbies.
But for me, it was like I got bored. I was like, wait, I'm not having fun with this.
Yeah,
I'm not having fun with it.
I mean, you like being on your phone. You get to be on your phone for 40 minutes till you play again.
I play a mobile game. Sorry for my car. The sound outside.
Somehow that controller is still in your hands, but your screen's in your phone already. Once it's not your turn to play.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, Soul Calibur has more flashy stuff for me that for the eye is more entertaining.
There's armor breaking and swords and stances
and yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, Tekken, I got bored. I was like, I'm bored of Tekken, and then I passed on.
Fantasy Strike, yeah, it was a simple game, really easy to learn.
I think it was a great experience.
It was a good experience, good community.
Yeah.
Good
I talked
characters.
to one of the developers, dude, in Discord, who was super helpful, like right away, super down to earth, like amazing people, dude. Super cool.
Yeah, but if you're experienced in fighting games, it just
It's a different take. Yeah,
it's just kind of like, all right, I think I'm done. Like, I don't know what to explain it. It was like one of those, all right, I think I'm done.
Mind you, it's nothing bad about it, right? But I can hear that, I can see that. So being like, okay, I did this. I learned how to do this. I can see how every match can still be different.
Yeah. If
But yeah,
if
I'm
that
good.
game had like 40 characters,
Oh, that would be
that would
great.
really help.
That
And
would
but the
really
thing
help.
is, I
Or
think the game that it's from barely has like double the roster that's in there now. So it wouldn't
mm,
even have that many characters if they had like the money to keep pumping out characters,
fucking
the
guest character.
resources to pump out characters like
Not
that. Yeah, guest
good
characters would
Noctis.
definitely help that game.
Yeah, Noctis in there.
Like I said, like the art style that I saw on one, I'll probably if I edit it in. There's an art style that there's especially the gray looked really good in. If the art style of the game looked like that aesthetically while you're playing, that would really
It's
help the game because
so
that art
good.
style was really good, and that's where it should try to go because it's still stylized in a way where it's separated from the other fighting games. Like it separates itself. It has its own look,
It
and
reminded me of Super Turbo. Remember the art style of Super Turbo? That was really for me. It was
yeah,
really cool.
I
Like
love
if I
that.
had a
You know,
Super
that's
Turbo,
I can't even say if it was good or not because that's so nostalgic, bro.
it is, but it was so cool. The even the revamped Champion Edition Super Turbo, whatever,
Yeah,
it's just so cool. Something about it. It reminded me of how cool it was when I saw Fantasy Strike art. I was like, yo, what
yeah.
is this?
It's like the type of art style that you look at it and you go, I want to look at more of this stuff.
Yep.
Where's more?
Where is it? Where?
Where's more? I like looking at this.
Yeah. So Fantasy Strike happened. That wasn't a good experience. I
It
will
was
go
great.
back if there's an update.
Yeah, if there was like a new character and a bigger
Like a
like a big
2.0
update,
version.
or yeah, like more stages and more like
Seasons.
something maybe to update with like even like a game mechanic or something. Everybody has one new move. Oh,
Yeah. The new
crazy.
super. Mind you,
Now
guys,
it's
this is a
too
game.
hard. I gotta do a quarter circle for my super instead of just
Nah.
do the Gray's air super with one
Button.
button and punish anything.
Yep. Oh,
Fuck
the
out of
girl,
here.
the ninja girl kick.
Ugh.
But then again, it's a game that also offers cosmetics on a daily basic, changing cosmetics,
Mhm.
and it has like a battle pass, but it's not, but it's some type of pass, which is
Yeah, it's
very
like
interesting. Keep that in mind, guys, because we're definitely gonna dive into that.
yeah, it's almost these fighting games are almost getting up to where like other gaming companies have
The
players.
modernized games are,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
almost
that's
modern.
almost there.
Almost modern.
What happened up to fantasy? What is up there?
Nothing.
No, there is
Nothing.
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
Just back and forth with
Fantasy Strike
everything
was the
else.
last.
So basically, this channel is gonna just follow whatever we're in the mood to play. To be honest, it's not always gonna be a Grand Blue. Always gonna be something else. You know, it's just whatever piques our interest. We're gonna be interested in it, and we're gonna either talk about it or play it or stream it. So for right now, my interests are actually the KOF.
Me too. Me too. I
Guilty
think I'm
Gear
gonna
is
try
number
it.
one for sure because it's gonna make me feel like, let's say if I even stream on YouTube, I can play with you guys no matter where you're from. With Fantasy Strike,
Yes.
when we play Fantasy Strike, when we played Dragon Ball, when we
That
played,
was super
like
fun.
we came across some
Grand
people
Blue.
that we played, but the connections just weren't there. So
Mhm.
it'll just open up us playing with you
Community.
guys a lot more in different ways. We could even do tournaments and all that stuff. And I finally, one of the things that were stopping me from streaming consistently and all that stuff is not an issue at the moment because I upgraded to a fiber optic cable. So
Hey.
so it's really helped mentally feeling like I could play stuff online.
Without feeling
Yeah.
I mean, I think that would be cool, right? Like if KOF is as successful as we think, or at Strive, we know is definitely gonna be there. But I think there's so different type of games that'll be so good seeing what you guys lean into more or what you guys think about and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there for the ride. So I think
DNF,
moving
by the
forward,
way,
for real.
Dungeon
What happened?
Fighters is one I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah, but that's later, right? Is it this year?
I think it might be this year. I don't know.
Okay,
What about
that's
you
a
though?
must. Yeah,
Same-
me too.
same
That's
stuff?
like KOF or Rio. I think KOF Strive. Obviously, what do you say?
It's been a really long time since I was into KOF. Last one was we tried 14. That's just too
Yeah.
ugly for me, bro. And
Yeah, it is.
even after the update, that shit is just too. It's too ugly for me, and it's too hard to do things that don't look that cool. I
Yeah,
want to
I think you
feel like I'm
mentioned that.
doing cool stuff.
Yeah, and it
KOF
doesn't mean that you need easy moves. It's just I feel like KOF needs to modernize their gameplay, not change the essence of
Yeah.
it, right? Just modernize why we're doing this. You know,
Yeah.
why are we doing this? You know, why you want your audience to be able to do this cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
because the more you do this stuff, the more entertaining it is to the eye for viewers and for the person playing
Yeah.
it. That's why Dragon Ball is so freaking
All
successful.
those people that lose, that just drop, like the player base. The player base might not drop as fast if you modernize. I don't know how. I don't want to say this in a bad way, but it's like you just make shit easier for people to do, because the people that are on top, they're always gonna be on top. They're always gonna
Yes.
figure out how to beat anybody else. Like it doesn't really matter. As if
I'm gonna say the word that fits
the
everything.
game needs to be
Accessible.
fun and accessible. You're right,
Yes.
accessible. Because let's say accessibility. KOF 13. I thought the game looked so beautiful. I think for KOF, my history came from whenever it was like Rugal was the last boss, then Chrysalid, then I think Zero, then whoever, the guy with the cape with the nicely
You know
animated
they're gonna
cape.
cut you in this
Like
comic.
that bracket of games, that's when I really played KOF heavy over anything else, and then I stopped, and then
It was kind of easy to do those things. Then.
I don't even remember, because I wasn't
I
like trying to be good. I was just fucking around. But in KOF 13, I'm like, all right, I'm more familiar with FGC stuff. I know
Here's a library.
what's like more or less what I got to look out for to be good in a fighting game. And then the fucking training mode was hard, and then I was like, fuck it, let me go online. And when I went online, it was terrible, and I didn't want to deal with having to learn things that were so hard in that kind of a lag when I knew I wasn't going to be going out to tournaments like that. And then when you look at tournaments, the tournaments kind of drop off in player base pretty fast for those kind of games, depending on the region.
I think so. The magic of Dragon Ball needs to happen to more games, and what I mean by that is that everyone feels, in the most part, good when they're pressing buttons in that game. You press buttons, you do something, and if it went your way, you feel even better. If it didn't, then you can't wait for the next time that you press a
And
button.
that game gives you plenty of chances.
Yep. And I'm gonna say a bold statement: Strive does that.
Yeah.
Drive makes it that regardless of what you're pressing, the game is telling you in some form of way you did the right thing, like a counter, or crashing them in through the wall, passing through the other stage. That's the game rewarding you visually. Hey, you're doing something good. Maybe you want to try it again. Type of thing.
And it's fast too, so you don't have time to dwell on anything.
But the experience of the player feels, oh, I did something. Like in Dragon Ball, you do a move and then
Yeah.
it looks good. And then, so KOF, maybe if they do that with their supers, maybe it could be the supers, maybe I did something and the supers are easier to do and it looks good. Maybe it's something that the player's like, yeah, I did that thing. It feels great. It's accessible. It's nothing wrong having accessible. You want your game to succeed. You don't want your game to be from an obscure little bit popularity and then expect it to sell millions.
Yeah.
No, you need it accessibility. So I'm hoping that is the case, because I'm interested in playing it. And Strive, obviously everyone's gonna play it. So
Yeah.
that's the two games that I'm looking forward to moving forward.
Yeah, especially because KOF, had to, the community twisted their arm into saying that they're getting rollback. So it's happening, whether it's the best pinnacle, best rollback you can get, or something decent. It's at least it's rollback, and that's that dialogue, that being out in the ethos that's out there, just coding the entire world with its like good vibes around the game.
So it's like an anime arc.
Yeah. so that's like the one thing they had to really worry about, because like, to be honest, I hope they have a guy that they pay for a year to just keep updating the animations, because some of them are really good, especially like on the newer characters, but some of them don't look so
It
good.
needs to be successful first.
No,
Once it's
yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I said like they hope they keep a guy around just updating it. Hey, new balance patch. Fix an issue where
animations.
this looked like shit.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to see those selling numbers of that game. So that's gonna tell a story, right? So let's see.
I
Because
mean,
whatever happens
it's gonna
there,
be. They better ship out extra copies to Mexico and China and Korea.
Woo!
Ship out extra copies there, because that's where it's really really popular.
That's right. That's right. Make sure you get your audience, okay?
Yep.
And get new ones in the way.
I must be prepping for KOF because I've been eating mad tacos. There's this place, it's Mexican place that makes the best tacos, bro. Addicted. I'm completely addicted to these Mexican tacos. I should bring up KOF to the chef next time because the chef comes out and he sees me sometimes and he's like, "Oh, the tacos, blah blah blah," and he tells me the way I like them and all that stuff. Like, "Yo, you like KOF?"
If he says
yeah,
yes,
I know, right?
We know next time.
Bro, I'm gonna be getting one extra free taco.
That'll be OD.
Oh, sí, Ryo Sakazaki, Takuma. Telling me his whole team and shit.
I'm telling you, man, they need to make something out of it.
He's just gonna tell me a year, 97, bro.
And then he nods.
Then we nod at each other and go, yeah, dream match. And then he'll like be upset at me. I don't know.
And when you leave, he thinks that you're his nephew or something.
Fuck that, bro. New free tacos. Those tacos.
Oh no, that's right. But yeah, I think that's what I have so far. So moving forward, we're definitely looking for that KOF and Strive. Now you guys know why we've been a little bit in the drought, but
yeah,
fighting games itself has been in the drought.
Let me not. I'm not gonna say the name, but
no.
There's I listen to like literally every podcast that I come across when it comes to fighting games. One I actually do like. I like half of the podcast. I like the host, the main host. The other half, not so much. But it kind of made me feel, it put into light a certain thing because like I started liking their podcast a little less and less as I started watching them. And I noticed it's like they're doing a fighting game podcast, but one of them is like so like I could make a compilation of this, but he's so cheap and brings out the fact that he's so cheap that I don't think he's ever paid for a $60 fighting game. I don't think he thinks they're worth $60 or so. I don't know what fighting game he's playing, but he's in it. He's gone to tournaments, and the main guy. I don't think he's loved the fighting game since Persona 5, and it's like or Tekken 7. But even that, like he doesn't really sound. Most of the podcast is a little like they try to be not negative because their audience brings up how negative they are about certain things, and I kind of didn't want to I try to stay positive in the comments and positive about a lot of other things, especially with the negative comments that we get in the channel about certain things that are not out of my control. It's not like we don't make the things, right? We just show them.
I mean, I wish we did.
But
I'll be very
so for us, I think to take a year off from podcasting was kind of a good thing because we weren't in a good place when it came to fighting games, but there is stuff that we're really excited about again to talk about.
Yeah, I'm super hyped. I'm super pumped. I hope you all guys get contagious in a good way of the hype because this couple of months coming up, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so cool and it's gonna be awesome, full of saltiness, full of hype stuff, full of more of these, hopefully, and maybe we get to share them with you guys.
Yeah, and I'm more looking to have a better time this time around. Like, my main goal is to just have fun with it. I just want to have fun conversation. Nothing too analytical, nothing too whatever. Because I listen to plenty of podcasts and I dissect them because we had one ourselves when we were relaunching or whatever. And there's a lot of times where shit's just boring. And then like if you're already boring, it just gets more boring. Like today I realized Ultra Chen, let's say Ultra Chen, right? I really like the Ultra Chen podcast, but James is just long-winded. He's long-winded. He repeats himself in different ways too about the same thing. And I noticed that he just takes a little too much time getting his point across a lot of the time, and that's what causes the podcast to go on a little longer than I think it should. And he has several different kinds of podcasts, and when I look at the title and I look at the runtime, I'm like, really? 2.5 hours? And it's just for this? Let me check it out. And it's just I'm gonna try and not, I want it to be less about the technical stuff in a way where it feels like school or
mathematically,
or you're in a lecture or a presentation, or like, because there's a lot
not getting scolded.
There's a lot of things in fighting games that gets to that level, but I just want to have a fun conversation. I want to have it every time we do one of these. I don't want to
I think that's really cool, dude. I think that's a great, at least a good energy to come to this new way of doing this, because I think having fun is something that we should all have in common, right? So, I'm hoping that
I
you guys
told
are
you
here,
earlier, I don't like this new
but that's
fun
changing.
stuff,
That's changing.
but I want to
So
have fun conversations.
So I'm hoping that having fun, right, is what you guys have in common, and we could all share about that. Share what is fun for you. If it's playing this game, doing this is what is fun for you, then yeah, let's talk about it. I can talk about fighting games for hours. So, um, but the most important thing is having fun. Playing the game and talking about the games that you want to play. So that's what you're gonna hear here for me. So that's why you're probably gonna hear about more fighting games that are not just these two, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So anything might change or anything. Yo, I'm back on
And
grab.
to be honest, I don't like it when people that aren't really into communities try to talk a little bit too much about communities that they're not in. Like, let's say I got my ear to the ground to how the Grand Blue community is, like the pro players and all that stuff. I check out a lot of their content. So when people that aren't in it or just try to go off of things they hear or kind of third party it, like it's easy to tell. So I don't want to give people
the energy,
that kind of like
acknowledgement.
That kind of perspective. I don't want a kind of almost false perspective on things just because most people say it's this, so I'm gonna say it's this even though I have nothing to do with it.
Hell no.
You know what I mean? Like we can't, like if Tekken, like if there's Tekken news, I'm not in Tekken anymore, but I still watch a lot of their videos, so I can more or less say a certain amount of things, but I'm not gonna pretend that I'm a part of that community or anything like that.
Like me, I don't play Dragon Ball, but I consume a lot of content.
Yeah, well, as one of your favorite streamers, you can't help but watch, and all he streams is that. But his personality is so great that you just watch him, and even if it's him playing Dragon Ball, but his gameplay is great.
Mm-hmm. So watching him play and his community and all that stuff, it still gives me a sense of direction of what is being part of that, right? I'm in his Discord, I'm in his all the stuff, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I would never say something or would like to say something that's something I don't know, right? Like, like the Fortnite, I can talk about.
There's plenty of times where people comment like to bring it to Grand Blue, they comment stuff where it's lore related, and I'd be like, dude, honestly, I don't know. Or that sounds cool, or this would be great. That sounds like it would be cool. Like I at least give the acknowledgement that I read the thing, unless it's something really negative or oddly political in a way where I just kind of like, I don't want to say anything about this, but
I guess and we all come here to have a good time, have fun, and I think this is the better time to come back for you guys. So
I don't know when I'll have the video up and running, but today is April 7th, and I just like to let you guys know that I've been grinding the shit out of Apex, and me and my lovely wife Cutie finally won our first game today, and I'm very proud of us because we've come so close over and over again, and we're not great at the game. But we have a lot of fun. I honestly almost felt like crying because I wanted to win with her for so long, because that feels like an accomplishment, and not being carried by my overpowered stepson that is ridiculous at the game.
You should be here.
But it felt good doing it ourselves. So I wanted to, because I always come back and critique myself on how I talk and all that stuff to try and get better. April 7th, 2021, Cutie and I had our first game won in Apex. Just mental note for myself, so I could smile in my deathbed, and that's the last thing I hear. All right.
Go back to that video. Go back. Go back to the paper type of shit. Oh man!
Welcome back to us podcasting, DoubleKO Radio. Hope you enjoy it. Leave us some stuff. We'll
like, subscribe, comment,
all that crap. You know what to do if you really want to. But yeah, peace out.
Next time.
What's the intro again?
I don't know.
Let's do it one more time.
The intro?
Yeah, that's the intro.
I don't know, man.
Play the fucking intro.
Hey, give me a second.
Oh my god, how'd you lose it?
There,
play the intro.
Stop! Wait.
That's too loud. I don't know. That might be a little long to do every
It
single
is. It
time.
is. I think the first part is.
But who's gonna skip it? That's gonna be the best
No
part.
one.
You know, I always just click the video to hear that part, and then
And
I
then go
click
back.
off of your podcast so I can listen to the song.
That shit's so fucking good. Don't forget to press record when you're ready, okay? Because
All right.
you know, infamous. I'm gonna press record.
Infamous?
Yes, like the game.
Yeah, but that's. Were you just referring to the game?
No,
Oh, why'd you say infamous?
because you did that once, so now I gotta blame you for it.
What did I do once?
That you forgot to press record.
Oh, okay. That's what I missed. That's the vital information that I missed. That's why I sounded so confused.
That means because you're still singing that shit in your head and you cannot compute that shit. Yo, I've been watching the.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I've been doing that.
What? What did you want me to bury again? Oh, that's not what you said.
Ew. All right, I'm pressing in 3, 2, 1.